Cadbury is a British multinational confectionery company wholly owned by American company Mondelez International since 2010. It is the second largest confectionery brand in the world after Wrigley's. Cadbury is headquartered in Uxbridge, Greater London and operates in more than 50 countries worldwide. It is famous for its dairy milk chocolate, the Creme Egg and Roses selection box, and many other confectionery products. One of the best-known British brands, in 2013 The Telegraph named Cadbury among Britain's most successful exports. Cadbury was established in Birmingham, England in 1824, by John Cadbury, who sold tea, coffee and drinking chocolate. Cadbury developed the business with his brother Benjamin, followed by his sons Richard and George. George developed the Bourneville estate, a model village designed to give the company's workers improved living conditions. Dairy milk chocolate, introduced in 1905, used a higher proportion of milk within the recipe compared with rival products. By 1914, the chocolate was the company's best-selling product. Cadbury, alongside Rowntree's and Fry, were the big three British confectionery manufacturers throughout much of the 19th and 20th centuries. Cadbury was granted its first royal warrant from Queen Victoria in 1854. It has been a holder of a royal warrant from Elizabeth II since 1955. Cadbury merged with J.S. Fry and Amp Sons in 1919, and Schweppes in 1969. Cadbury was a constant constituent of the FTSE 100 on the London Stock Exchange from the index's 1984 inception until the company was bought by Kraft Foods in 2010. History: 1824 to 1900. Early history: in 1824, John Cadbury, a Quaker, began selling tea, coffee and drinking chocolate in Bull Street in Birmingham, England. From 1831 he moved into the production of a variety of cocoa and drinking chocolates, made in a factory in Bridge Street and sold mainly to the wealthy because of the high cost of production. In 1847, John Cadbury became a partner with his brother Benjamin and the company became known as Cadbury Brothers. The brothers opened an office in London, and in 1854 they received the royal warrant as manufacturers of chocolate and cocoa to Queen Victoria. The company went into decline in the late 1850s. John Cadbury's sons Richard and George took over the business in 1861. At the time of the takeover, the business was in rapid decline. The number of employees had reduced from 20 to 11, and the company was losing money. By 1864, Cadbury was profitable again. The brothers had turned around the business by moving the focus from tea and coffee to chocolate, and by increasing the quality of the products. The firm's first major breakthrough occurred in 1866 when Richard and George introduced an improved cocoa into Britain. A new cocoa press developed in the Netherlands removed some of the unpalatable cocoa butter from the cocoa bean. The firm began exporting its products in the 1850s. In the 1880s the firm began to produce chocolate confectionaries. In 1878, the brothers decided to build new premises in countryside 4 miles from Birmingham. The move to the countryside was unprecedented in business. Better transport access for milk that was inward shipped by canal, and cocoa that was brought in by rail from London, Southampton and Liverpool docks was taken into consideration. With the development of the Birmingham West Suburban Railway along the path of the Worcester and Birmingham Canal, they acquired the Bournebrook estate, comprising 14.5 acres of countryside 5 miles south of the outskirts of Birmingham. located next to the Sturchley Street railway station, which itself was opposite the canal. They renamed the estate Bourneville and opened the Bourneville factory the following year. In 1893, George Cadbury bought 120 acres of land close to the works and planned, at his own expense, a model village which would alleviate the evils of modern, more cramped living conditions. By 1900, the estate included 314 cottages and houses set on 330 acres of land. As the Cadbury family were Quakers, there were no pubs in the estate. In 1897, following the lead of Swiss companies, Cadbury introduced its own line of milk chocolate bars. In 1899, Cadbury became a private limited company. 1900 to 1969. In 1905, Cadbury launched its Dairy Milk Bar, a production of exceptional quality with a higher proportion of milk than previous chocolate bars. Developed by George Cadbury Jr., it was the first time a British company had been able to mass-produce milk chocolate. For the beginning, it had the distinctive purple wrapper. It was a great sales success, and became the company's best-selling product by 1914. The stronger Bourneville cocoa line was introduced in 1906. Cadbury Dairy Milk and Bourneville Cocoa were to provide the basis for the company's rapid pre-war expansion. In 1910, Cadbury sales overtook those of Fry for the first time. Cadbury's milk tray was first produced in 1915 and continued in production throughout the remainder of the First World War. More than 2,000 of Cadbury's male employees joined the British Armed Forces, and to support the British war effort, Cadbury provided chocolate, books and clothing to the troops. George Cadbury handed over two company-owned buildings for use as hospitals, the Beeches and Thurcroft, and the management of both hospitals earned the War Office's highest award. Factory girls, dubbed the Cadbury Angels, volunteered to do the laundry of injured soldiers recovering in the hospitals. After the war, the Bourneville factory was redeveloped and mass production began in earnest. In 1918, Cadbury opened the first overseas factory in Hobart, Tasmania. In 1919, Cadbury merged with J.S. Fry and Amp Sons, another leading British chocolate manufacturer, resulting in the integration of well-known brands such as Fry's Chocolate Cream and Fry's Turkish Delight. In 1921, the many small Fry's factories around Bristol were closed down, and production was consolidated at a new Somerdale factory, outside Bristol. Cadbury soon expanded its product range with flake creme eggs, fruit and nut, and crunchy. By 1930, Cadbury had become the 24th largest British manufacturing company as measured by estimated market value of capital. Cadbury took direct control of the underperforming Fry in 1935. Dairy Milk Whole Nut arrived in 1933, and Roses were introduced in 1938. Chocolate ceased to be a luxury product and became affordable to the working classes for the first time. By the mid-1930s, Cadbury estimated that 90% of the British population could afford to buy chocolate. By 1936, dairy milk accounted for 60% of the UK milk chocolate market. During World War II, parts of the Bourneville factory were turned over to war work, producing milling machines and seats for fighter aircraft. Workers ploughed football fields to plant crops. As chocolate was regarded as an essential food, it was placed under government supervision for the entire war. The wartime rationing of chocolate ended in 1950, and normal production resumed. Cadbury subsequently invested in new factories and had an increasing demand for the products. In 1952, the Morton factory was built. Cadbury has been a holder of a royal warrant from Queen Elizabeth II since 1955. In 1967, Cadbury acquired an Australian confectioner, Macrobitzons, beating a rival bid from Mars. As a result of the takeover, Cadbury built a 60% market share in the Australian market. Schweppes merger. Cadbury merged with drinks company Schweppes to form Cadbury Schweppes in 1969. Head of Schweppes, Lord Watkinson, became chairman, and Adrian Cadbury became deputy chairman and managing director. The benefits of the merger were to prove elusive. The merger put an end to Cadbury's close links to its Quaker founding family and its perceived social ethos by instilling a capitalist venturer philosophy in management. In 1978, the company acquired Peter Paul, the third largest chocolate manufacturer in the United States, for $58 million, which gave it a 10% share of the world's largest confectionery market. The highly successful Whisper chocolate bar was launched in the northeast of England in 1981, and nationwide in 1984. In 1982, trading profits were greater outside of Britain than in the UK for the first time. In 1986, Cadbury Schweppes sold its beverages and foods division to a management buyout known as Premier Brands for £97 million. This saw the company divest itself of such brands as Thai Fruity, Kenko, Smash and Hearty Chivas Jam. The deal also saw Premier take the license for production of Cadbury brand biscuits and drinking chocolate. Meanwhile, Schweppes switched its alliance in the UK from Pepsi to Coca-Cola, taking a 51% stake in the joint venture Coca-Cola Schweppes. The acquisition of Canada Dry doubled its worldwide drinks market share, and it took a 30% stake in Dr. Pepper. As a result of these acquisitions, Cadbury Schweppes became the third largest soft drinks manufacturer in the world. Snapple, Mystic and Stewart's were sold by Triarch to Cadbury Schweppes in 2000 for $1.45 billion. In October of that same year, Cadbury Schweppes purchased Royal Crown from Triarch. Schweppes demerger. In March 2007, it was revealed that Cadbury Schweppes was planning to split its business into two separate entities, one focusing on its main chocolate and confectionery market, the other on its U.S. drinks business. The demerger took effect on the 2nd of May 2008, with the drinks business becoming Dr. Pepper's Snapple Group. In December 2008, it was announced that Cadbury was to sell its Australian beverage unit to Asahi Breeze. 2003 name rebrand. In 2003, Cadbury dropped the S from its name and renamed the brand to Cadbury. The company found that it was a much more suited, rounded name than the previous Cadbury's. This change was announced on the 19th of December 2002. In October 2007, Cadbury announced the closure of the Somerdale factory, Keynsham, formerly part of Fry's. Between 500 and 700 jobs were affected by this change. Production transferred to other plants in England and Poland. In 2008, Monk Hill Confectionery, the own-label trading division of Cadbury Trebor Bassett, was sold to Tangerine Confectionery for £58 million cash. This sale included factories at Pontefract, Cleckheaton and York, and a distribution centre near Chesterfield, and the transfer of around 800 employees. In mid-2009, Cadbury replaced some of the cocoa butter in the non-UK chocolate products with palm oil, despite stating this was a response to consumer demand to improve taste and texture. There was no new improved recipe claim placed on New Zealand labels. Consumer backlash was significant from environmentalists and chocolate lovers. By August 2009, the company announced that it was reverting to the use of cocoa butter in New Zealand. In addition, they would source cocoa beans through fair trade channels. In January 2010, prospective buyer Kraft pledged to honor Cadbury's commitment. Acquisition by Kraft Foods. On the 7th of September 2009, Kraft Foods made a £10.2 billion indicative takeover bid for Cadbury. The offer was rejected, with Cadbury stating that it undervalued the company. Kraft launched a formal, hostile bid for Cadbury valuing the firm at £9.8 billion on the 9th of November 2009. The UK Business Secretary Peter Mandelson warned Kraft not to try to make a quick buck for the acquisition of Cadbury. On the 19th of January 2010, it was announced that Cadbury and Kraft Foods had reached a deal and that Kraft would purchase Cadbury for £8.40 per share, valuing Cadbury at £11.5 billion. Kraft, which issued a statement stating that the deal will create a global confectionery leader, had to borrow £7 billion in order to finance the takeover. The Hershey Company, based in Pennsylvania, manufactures and distributes Cadbury-branded chocolate in the United States and has been reported to share Cadbury's ethos. Hershey had expressed an interest in buying Cadbury because it would broaden its access to faster-growing international markets. But on the 22nd of January 2010, Hershey announced that it would not counter Kraft's final offer. The acquisition of Cadbury faced widespread disapproval from the British public, as well as groups and organisations including trade union Unite, who fought against the acquisition of the company which, according to Prime Minister Gordon Brown, was very important to the British economy. Unite estimated that a takeover by Kraft could put 30,000 jobs at risk, and UK shareholders protested over the mergers and acquisitions advisory fees charged by banks. Cadbury's M&A advises Rubs, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. Controversially, RBS, a bank 84% owned by the United Kingdom government, funded the Kraft takeover. On the 2nd of February 2010, Kraft secured over 71% of Cadbury's shares, thus finalizing the deal. Kraft had needed to reach 75% of the shares in order to be able to delist Cadbury from the stock market and fully integrate it as part of Kraft. This was achieved on the 5th of February 2010, and the company announced that Cadbury shares would be delisted on the 8th of March 2010. On the 3rd of February 2010, the chairman Roger Carr, chief executive Todd Stitzer and chief financial officer Andrew Burnfield all announced the resignations. Stitzer had worked at the company for 27 years. On the 9th of February 2010, Kraft announced that they were planning to close the Summerdale factory, Keynsham, with the loss of 400 jobs. The management explained that existing plans to move production to Poland were too advanced to be realistically reversed, though assurances had been given regarding sustaining the plant. Staff at Keynsham criticized this move, suggesting that they felt betrayed and as if they have been sacked twice. On the 22nd of April 2010, Phil Rumble, the man behind the famous gorilla advertisement, announced his plans to leave the Cadbury company in July following Kraft's takeover. In June 2010, the Polish division, Cadbury Weedle, was sold to Lot of Korea. The European Commission made the sale a condition of the Kraft takeover. As part of the deal, Kraft will keep the Cadbury, Halls and other brands along with 2 plants in Skarbymias. Lot will take over the plant in Warsaw along with the E-Weedle brand. On the 4th of August 2011, Kraft Foods announced they would be splitting into 2 companies beginning on the 1st of October 2012. The confectionery business of Kraft became Mondelez International, of which Cadbury is a subsidiary. Operations. Head office. Cadbury has its head office at Cadbury House in the Uxbridge Business Park in Uxbridge, London Borough of Hillingdon, England. The building occupies 84,000 square feet of leased space inside Building 3 of the business park. After acquiring Cadbury, Kraft confirmed that the company would remain at Cadbury House. Cadbury relocated to Uxbridge from its previous head office at 25 Berkeley Square in Mayfair, City of Westminster in 2007 as a cost-saving measure. In 1992, the company leased the space for £55 per 1 square foot. By 2002, this had reached £68.75 per square foot. Production sites. Bournville employs almost 1,000 people. In 2014, Mondelez announced a £75 million investment in the site. Bournville is home to Mondelez's Global Center of Excellence for Chocolate Research and Development, so every new chocolate product created by the company anywhere in the world starts life at the Birmingham plant. Markets. United Kingdom. The confectionery business in the UK is called Cadbury and, as of August 2004, had 8 factories and 3,000 staff in the UK. Biscuits bearing the Cadbury brand, such as Cadbury Fingers, are produced under license by Burton's Foods. Cadbury also owns Treebor Bassett, Fries and Maynards. Ice cream based on Cadbury products, like 99 Flake, is made under license by Frederick's Dairies. Cadbury cakes and chocolate spread are manufactured under license by Premier Foods, but the cakes were originally part of Cadbury Foods Limited with factories at Blackpool in Worcester and Morton-on-the-Wirral, with distribution depots throughout the UK. Other Kraft subsidiaries in the UK include Cadbury 2 LLP, Cadbury UK Holdings Limited, Cadbury US Holdings Limited, Cadbury 4 LLP, Cadbury Holdings Limited, and Cadbury 1 LLP. Ireland. Cadbury Ireland Limited is based in Coolock in Dublin, where the headquarters of Cadbury Ireland are located, and Tala, the third, is in Rathmore, County Kerry. Products made by Cadbury in Ireland include Cadbury Dairy Milk, 12 Flake, and Boost. United States. Cadbury Adams produces candy, gum, breath mints and cough drops. It is headquartered in Parsippany, New Jersey. The company was formed after the then Cadbury Schweppes purchased the Adams brand from Pfizer in December 2002 for $4.2 billion. American Chicle was purchased by Warner Lambert in 1962. Warner Lambert renamed the unit Adams in 1997 and merged with Pfizer in 2000. In 1978, Cadbury merged with Peter Paul, makers of Mounds and Almond Joy. In 1988, the Hershey Company acquired the U.S. rights to the chocolate business. Accordingly, although the Cadbury Group's chocolate products have been sold in the U.S. since 1988, the products are manufactured by Hershey, causing complaints by consumers who claim they are inferior to the originals. Before the May 2008 demerger, the North American business also contained beverage unit Cadbury Schweppes America's Beverages. In 1982, Cadbury Schweppes purchased the Duffy Mott Company. Cadbury Adams's products include Australia and New Zealand. Cadbury's products were first imported into Australia as early as 1853 when 3 cases of Cadbury's cocoa and chocolate were advertised for sale in Adelaide. Cadbury's first overseas order in 1881 was made for the Australian market. In 1919, as part of its plans to expand internationally, the company decided to build a factory in Australia. In 1920, Claremont, Tasmania was chosen for the location because of its close proximity to the city of Hobart, good source of inexpensive hydroelectricity, and plentiful supply of high-quality fresh milk. The first products from the factory were sold in 1922. The Claremont factory was modelled on Bournville, with its own village and sporting facilities. Cadbury operates 3 Australian factories as well as 1 in New Zealand, 2 in Melbourne, Victoria, 1 in Hobart, Tasmania, and 1 in Dunedin, New Zealand. Cadbury also operates a milk processing plant in Burnie, Tasmania. Claremont factory was once a popular tourist attraction and operated daily tours. However, the factory ceased running full tours mid-2008, citing health and safety reasons. Cadbury has been upgrading its manufacturing facility at Claremont, Tasmania, Australia, since 2001. On the 27th of February 2009, the confectionery and beverages businesses of Cadbury Schweppes in Australia were formally separated and the beverages business began operating as Schweppes Australia Pty Limited. In April 2009, Schweppes Australia was acquired by Asahi Breeze. In late June 2012, Cadbury introduced Marvelous Creations, a new chocolate range with 3 flavors: peanut toffee cookie, jelly crunchy bits. A jelly popping candy beanie is covered in dairy milk chocolate. Canada. Cadbury Canada produces and/or imports several products that are sold under the Cadbury and Maynard's labels, including the following. Cadbury Canada is now part of Mondelez Canada and products are featured on the Snackworks website. India. In 1948, Cadbury India began its operations in India by importing chocolates. On the 19th of July 1948, Cadbury was incorporated in India. It now has manufacturing facilities in Thane, Indore and Malanpur, Hyderabad, Bangalore and Badi, and sales offices in New Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai. The corporate head office is in Mumbai. The head office is presently situated at Pedder Road, Mumbai, under the name of Cadbury House. This monumental structure at Pedder Road has been a landmark for the citizens of Mumbai since its creation. Since 1965, Cadbury has also pioneered the development of cocoa cultivation in India. For over 2 decades, Cadbury has worked with the Kerala Agricultural University to undertake cocoa research. Currently, Cadbury India operates in 5 categories: chocolate, confectionery, beverages, biscuits, gum and candy. Some of the key brands are Cadbury Dairy Milk, Bournvita, 5-Star, Perk, Bourneville, Celebrations, Gems, Halls, Eclairs, Bubbaloo, Tang and Oreo. Its products include Cadbury Dairy Milk Silk, Bourneville, 5-Star, Temptations, Perk, Gems, Eclairs, Bournvita, Celebrations, Bilkul, Cadbury Dairy Milk Shots, Toblerone, Halls, Tang and Oreo. It is the market leader in the chocolate confectionery business with a market share of over 70%. On the 21st of April 2014, Cadbury India changed its name to Mondelez India Foods Limited, Malta. In 2012, Alf Mazian Amp Sons Marketing took over the importation and distribution of Cadbury, as well as several other Mondelez brands. Most of the Cadbury products are imported directly from the UK. The advertising of the brand was taken over by Sloan Limited, which proved to be highly successful in creating market-specific commercials, reaching the largest number of people ever through digital advertising. The Cadbury signature logo is derived from the signature of William Cadbury. It was adopted as the worldwide logo in the 1970s. Executive pay. In 2008, Todd Stitzer, Cadbury's CEO, was paid a £2,665,000 bonus, combined with his annual salary of £985,000 and other payments of £448,000. This gives a total remuneration of over £4 million. Accounting. In July 2007, Cadbury Schweppes announced that it would be outsourcing its transactional accounting and order capture functions to shared business services centers run by a company called Genpact in India, China, and Romania. This was to affect all business units and be associated with US and UK functions being transferred to India by the end of 2007, with all units transferred by mid-2009. Depending on the success of this move, other accounting human resources functions may follow. This development is likely to lead to the loss of several hundred jobs worldwide, but also to several hundred jobs being created, at lower salaries commensurate with wages paid in developing countries. Products. Major chocolate brands produced by Cadbury include the bars Dairy Milk, Crunchy, Caramel, Whisper, Boost, Picnic, Flake, Curly Whirly, Chomp, and Fudge. Chocolate buttons. The boxed chocolate brand Milk Tray, and the twist wrap chocolates Heroes, as well as Cadbury's chocolate. The company also owns Maynards and Halls, and is associated with several types of confectionery including former Trebor and Bassett's brands of products such as licorice allsorts, Jelly Babies, Flumps, Mints, Black Jack Chews, Trident Gum, and Soft Mints. Notable product introductions include